Hello everyone, this is Dan, your resident Digimon fan. Welcome back to the channel. It's time to get out your copium tanks because we're going to be talking about Digimon Con 2024. In all honesty, I didn't have very high expectations for Digimon Con. It's never really a show that's like very enjoyable for me. It's obviously meant to be like a love letter to Digimon, less than a show where you should expect big announcements and talking about the future of Digimon, but you would hope for some interesting news for Digimon, and specifically what I was looking out for was any news on new Digimon games, or maybe on, you know, remasters or remakes of older Digimon games. We recently had the Tomb Raider Remastered Trilogy, which I absolutely adored, and it, for me, was like the perfect way to remaster an old PS1 series game. So I really was hoping that we might get something to do with the Digimon World Trilogy. I mean, that might have been, you know, expecting way too much, but something like that would have been cool. So looking forward to anything to do with games. And then also specifically, I wanted to know what they were going to do with the Vital Bracelet, because as I mentioned in a previous video, which you can look up here and see, we haven't had any news on the Vital Bracelet since the Pulsemon dim. So the Pulsemon Seekers dim, it seems to be the last Vital Bracelet piece of material that has been announced, and I was hoping that Digimon Con would talk a little bit about that as well, so we'll see what went on with that. Alright, so on the screen to start off with, we have the schedule right in front of you. So this was already released prior to the stream, and most of the material I'm going to be showing is going to be screenshots and things from withthewill.net. It's not going to be any footage from the actual stream because I don't want to get DMCA'd. But you can see they've segmented out the stream into the different sections. So there's an animation talking about the 25th anniversary, which is this year was going to be the 25th anniversary celebration of Digimon. You've got an Agumon real-time talk, which is an interesting thing we'll talk about. Then there's a section on games, music, toys, and then news to do with Digimon Seekers. We also have stuff to do with Digimon Liberator, which is the new card game stuff, and then some more music as well with some more Agumon in between. Lots of Agumon sections. So right, without further ado, let's go over what happened. So here's what the Agumon real-time talk thing was like. They had an Agumon on the screen, and the host would be talking to it, and it would be responding. Obviously an interesting thing to add into the stream, and a nice little nod to the AI overlords that are taking over. But yeah, it was cool. Doesn't really mean anything to me, but you know, we like Agumon. So they brought up this cool graphics when we talk about the 25th anniversary section, start talking about the anime, and we've got this timeline here of the different anime series. So we've got Digimon Adventure in 99, you've got 02 in 2000, and Tamers in 2001. You have Digimon Frontiers in 2002, and then you have the X Evolution movie in 2005. So there was a bit of a gap between those ones. You can see that Data Squad, or Savers, came out in 2006. And then a 4-year gap until we had Digimon Fusion or Cross Wars. I call it Cross Wars because not all of Fusion Cross Wars was in English, so I watched it all in Japanese, so I know it as Cross Wars. Digimon Adventure Tri then came out in 2015, so a big gap, but that's because Fusion took a number of years to complete. What I find really cool is they've added in Digimon Universe app monsters in here, which is really cool that they've put Appmon. I really like Appmon. I think I might have mentioned on the channel before, but out of all of these series, I'm kind of erring on Appmon being my favorite, which might be a bit of a hot take. I mean, I like Tamers, and I liked Data Squad. Digimon Adventure obviously is a classic, but I don't know, man. Something about Appmon really resonated with me, so I really enjoyed that one. And then we have the 2020 Adventure reboot, as well as the Last Evolution Kazuna movie, the Ghost Game in 2021, and then the Adventure 02 movie in 2023, which I have still yet to see because it's not available in UK cinemas or on any streaming services. So yeah, still waiting on that one. Next, they brought out some voice actors. So we have here Agumon, Gavumon, and Beamon's voice actors, as well as Volcano Ota, who has voiced a few different side characters in Digimon. He's done lots of voice acting across the space. And they held a bunch of quizzes, so nothing particularly exciting unless you're really into that stuff. But yeah, no announcements in this segment. There was a special trailer that they went through all of the different anime series as well, which was kind of cool to see, and it did end on this ominous "the adventure continues," but they didn't actually say what that means. They didn't announce a new anime, so I'm not entirely sure what that means, but what does that mean? Digimon Adventure is going to continue? Maybe they're going to have a second series after Adventure 2020? If I were to be honest, I would probably prefer that they kind of put it to bed. But if they were going to continue Digimon Adventure with the new rebooted timeline, I would quite like a remake of Adventure 02. If they could kind of like bring the Adventure 2020 timeline into 02 and bring in those new characters, I think that would be pretty cool. So who knows? But again, they didn't announce anything, so we don't know. They then talked about the responses to the Digimon game survey that I actually filled in quite a number of months ago. And one of the interesting polls was which are the world's favourite Digimon inside Digimon games. And interestingly, Magnamon was #1, which I find very surprising, to be honest. I don't remember what I said in terms of what my favourite one was. I think they were kind of expecting something like Imperial Dramon or Omnimon, but Magnamon was an interesting choice. They talked about some of their favourite scenes in different games. So they talked about Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory, and they talked about Digimon World Next Order, and I think Survive as well. So it was kind of cool to get their takes on some of their favourite parts in the games. And then the moment we were all waiting for, after a pretty cool musical segment, they announced that they didn't have anything more to share on the new Digimon story game. So after all of that, they kind of teased us, they lured us in, talking about all the different Digimon games and talking about the survey. But again, they have nothing to show. They have a Digimon story game in development, and they said that more information is coming soon, but I think they said the same thing at Digimon Con 2023. I'm not particularly looking forward to there's any new game that comes out. I know that they changed their director, the game director, recently, so whether that has some bearing on the project, I don't know, but man, they really do be starving us over here. So another Digimon Con, and again, no news about Digimon games. Then there was another performance. There were quite a lot of performances. It kind of is leading back to what I was saying about Digimon Con just being a show rather than being a place to announce stuff. It's not like, you know, you get PlayStation events and you get Nintendo Directs and stuff to do with video games. This ain't that, you know. This is meant to just be a celebration of Digimon, which, you know, is fun in its own way, I guess. And then something I actually did think was pretty cool, I almost certainly won't be picking one up myself, but they showed off the 25th Color Evolution Digivice. So it's a VPET, but it's in full color using the sprites and some of the background looker stuff that they introduced with the Vital Bracelet. And it actually looked really awesome. It lights up and it makes sounds. There's some really cool animations in it. If you ever owned any of the Digivice devices, then this is like the ultimate one. There's different variants, I believe. They also announced these deluxe editions of the new Digivice. So you've got the orange Agumon and the blue Gabumon, and these look just like the old Digivices that they released back in the day. And I'm pretty sure as a kid I had the orange one at some point, but I have no idea where that is now. But these devices seem really cool, actually. They're slightly more casual than the normal VPETs, so they're kind of in between a VPET and the Vital Bracelet, and I do really quite like them. But again, they are premium Bandai. I think they're Japan exclusive, so Zen TCG does have them up for pre-order, but they're something like $120 or something, which is a bit pricey for what is essentially a toy. So I don't think I'll be picking one up, but they are pretty cool, and if you like these kind of devices, then this is a cool announcement. So they showed off one live on the show, and you can see how it like lights up, and you've got like evolution animations and stuff. Yeah, it's a really cool looking device. Maybe if they release a cheaper version of this, or it just comes to the West, then I'll pick one up. But as far as I'm concerned, I won't pick one up. Well, I have to import it and pay a lot of money, but it is cool. I really do quite like it. They then showed off a new trailer for Digimon Seekers. I believe this is for the epilogue of Seekers. I still haven't read it. I'm sorry. I know I say this in every video, but I guess now that the epilogue is out, I'll be able to read the whole thing back to back, so maybe I'll get on and do that. But yep, so it showed off that they're doing the final part of Seekers as well. So I guess it's worth taking a moment here to pause and say, so we've been through the toy section with the Digivice, and we talked about Seekers, and at no point did they mention the Vital Bracelet. So I think it's fair to say at this point that Bandai has probably moved on from the Vital Bracelet. If they're not announcing a new anime, they're not announcing an expansion on Seekers, they haven't mentioned any new DIMs, I think this is probably the end of the road, unfortunately. Which is a bit bittersweet. It's kind of good in a way because it allows me to move on from all the new releases. There are a lot of DIM cards for the Vital Bracelet, and it's still a really cool device. It's not like it's going anywhere. So maybe I'll take this opportunity to fill in the final gaps of the few things that I am missing for the Vital Bracelet, and then call it a day, you know, once I have everything. And then I can just sort of like casually wear the thing. I still don't have a replacement for my broken one, so I'll need to look into getting a new one. But yeah, it is a bittersweet moment. I was a bit upset when I learned that that was going to be pretty much it for the Vital Bracelet, but it's also, it's just kind of the way it is, you know, ebbs and flows, and we'll move on to the next one. But yeah, bit disappointing. I'll be honest, this bit did make me laugh a bit. So we're moving on to the Digimon card game now, and there's actually some pretty cool news in the card game space. So this is the section for me which was the most interesting personally, and one of the things that they talked about to begin with was the survey results of people's favorite cards, and I just found it really funny that all of the English ones are waifus. So starting with number 5, in the English version of the card game, we have Lilithmon at number 5, and we have Old Force Vidramon at number 4, but with Rena, of course. In the number 3 spot, we have Machinedramon. Okay, yeah, Machinedramon's pretty cool. Then in the number 2 spot, we have Beelstar. Why? And then number 1 is Mastemon. I mean, Mastemon's pretty cool, don't get me wrong. But, I don't know, man. Next, they talked about BT17, and one of the things that they showed off is this, like, super secret rare Greymon card. It's Greymon fighting Parrotmon in the Our War Game movie, like the very first Digimon movie. And what I find really interesting about it is, I mean, it looks amazing, but it was also very, very shiny. You can't really see it very well from this image here, but you've got like a full gold lettering. Everything is like gold, even the BT17 bit and the secret bit. This card looks really awesome. There's absolutely no way that I'm going to be pulling it, but it looks amazing. There's also another one which is the same cards as BT17-102, but this is the bit from Last Evolution Kazuna, so it's still Greymon fighting Parrotmon, but it's a different kind. So this is really awesome, both of these cards. I'd love to have one or both of these, they just look amazing. Here are dates for BT17, so it's called like Secret Crisis, I think is what it says on here, and for Japan it's coming out on 29th of March. For us it's going to be the 9th of August. Looking forward to this one. Looks like a really cool set. I like the cover artwork here. You've got Omnimon and Diaboromon from Our War Game, so that's pretty cool. I like the look of this set. Next we saw a trailer for Digimon Liberator. This is something which they have shown off before, but this is the it's a webcomic which is based on a Digimon card game, which seems pretty cool, and they're going to be introducing some new Digimon in this as well, so it should be pretty interesting. But again, a comic, not an anime. Anime would have been cooler. Then they showed off some Digimon card stuff around Liberator, which is actually pretty awesome. So here we have starter decks 18 and 19. I can't believe we're up to 19 starter decks already. But we have 2 of the main new Digimon from Digimon Liberator. I don't know their names, I'm afraid. I'll put on screen somewhere, but you've got this green dude over here, and then you've got this yellow guy in a shoe, like you do, probably Australian. But yeah, you've got a green starter deck and a yellow starter deck, and packaging looks pretty cool, so I'm looking forward to seeing these. These release on the 26th of March in Japan, so presumably we will get it later in the year, maybe September, October. They also showed that EX07 is going to be the Digimon Liberator set, so we're going to get a whole EX set based on Digimon Liberator, which is really cool, so I'm really looking forward to this one. One thing they showed off is that the Liberator comic is going to be in full color, so that's really cool. I'm really looking forward to reading this. I'm much more of a comic guy than a novel guy, which is why I've not read Seekers yet. But yeah, this looks really cool. And you've got Agumon holding the trophy. Very cute. I kid you not, apparently the Digimon in a shoe is called Shoemon. I mean, I don't know what else you want me to say. That's just peak. Here are some cool bonus cards that are going to be included inside the decks. So you've got some by Yuki and some by Yamaretsu. So some pretty cool artists. I like both of these ones, and these cards look really nice. Other than that, they talked about a new manga, and then they also talked about this new Digimon X variant, which looks pretty cool. But for me, that pretty much wrapped up Digimon Con. There wasn't anything new that they added, which really drew my attention. So let's summarize. So in summary, I mean, it was a kind of cool show, and they did show off some cool stuff. They did talk about the card game, Digimon Liberator, and you know, they showed off the new Digivices. The new Digimon X's were kind of cool, but again, the things that I was specifically looking for, so any updates on the video games or any updates on the Vital Bracelet, were completely absent. And it was just another letdown, really. I mean, it's really hard being a Digimon fan these days, especially in the UK. So yeah, it's a tough one, but no particularly exciting announcements for me. But maybe that's just me. Let me know down in the comments if there's anything that you're particularly looking forward to. I mean, the Digivice does seem pretty cool, so that's probably the main thing. But yeah, hopefully we'll get some more news later in the year. But that's everything for me. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.